What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I'm gonna show you how to build your Royal Guard and Husk and maximize their damage output, almost doubling their damage, okay? A lot of you guys are asking me, Skratch, can I see the build on Royal Guard? Can I see the build on Husk? How should I build these champions to get the most damage out of it? A lot of people tend to forget that once you're gonna move into the end game, because this guide is more towards the end game, guys, you're gonna hit the cap on the bosses. So having too much crit damage is gonna be an overkill. Having Savage is gonna be an overkill. So you wanna maximize the damage from every single perspective. So that's what I wanna show you in today's video. The reason why I'm saying this is more of an end game guide is because when you are early game, mid game, you're gonna wanna have Savage on your enemy max HP nukers, Coldheart, Septimus, Royal Guard, Husk, etc. Because you're not gonna have a cap on the damage. Septimus can hit for 5.5 million damage on the spider, one-shot it. Coldheart can potentially do that as well. So there are quite a few different reasons why you wanna have Savage early to mid-game. But once you pass stage 20 on dungeons, once you reach Doom Tower hard mode, once you do Hydra, especially Brutal and Nightmare, where enemy max HP becomes more important, you're gonna see that you have a damage cap of 10% per hit, so you cannot exceed that with the enemy max HP nuke. That's why it's really important to have the right stats on your champions, have kind of like the right stats to prioritize maybe more speed, more survivability, maybe accuracy on some of them, kind of like maximize their damage output from every single perspective. So right here I have the very good example of a early game, mid game progression Royal Guard. Now, I can use this in endgame, in my Fire Knight stage 25 to help me on the waves with the Savage set. And I'm using him on a Doom Tower on the Dark Fae as well. The reason why I'm using this on the Dark Fae is because of the accuracy. So I don't really need to have Savage on him to cap the damage on the Dark Fae. This is mainly for the Fire Knight. But if I would be at stage 20 in the game on Spider, he would be perfect the way he is, maybe even more crit damage. The more crit damage on him, instead of the speed maybe get Cruel, that would actually give him more and more damage. But because this is an endgame guide, we want to talk about what should we change to make the most out of the champion. So if we're talking about Nightmare Hydra as an idea, having 220 plus crit damage on your champions will already cap the 10% damage with defense down and weaken. So if we're talking about Husk, having Relentless, having Reflex, and including Royal Guard, Acrisia, is the ultimate way to go. This will give you extra turns, will allow you to use the enemy max HP nuke more often, allowing you to deal more damage. Having Refresh accessories, very, very important as well. Unfortunately, I don't have that many on all of my champions, especially for a Husk. I didn't really got that lucky with it here, you know. And you see, even I have a bit of extra crit damage on some of them because sometimes I don't have defense down and weaken. Sometimes I only have defense down depending on what team I'm using and on what difficulty. So I want to make sure I'm still staying in the green line, you know, like I'm still capping the damage. But what's more important is to have a decent amount of speed. Now, I don't personally really care too much about going ham on getting world records for Hydra because nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives you nothing, and it's just wasting good gear that I would use probably on arena champions or on something else, just as an idea, right? Because I have a lot of copies of Husk's Royal Guards. That's what I'm using them. I'm using them in Hydra. So none of these champions are actually really being used anywhere else but Hydra, and actually on the Magma Dragon, which we're gonna test just to kind of like give you guys an idea. You see, I have more refresh accessories for them, and if you're looking at the stats, 227 speed, 234 crit damage, survivability. I don't even have accuracy on Royal Guard. Now, a lot of you guys might want to use accuracy if you need to have that decreased speed, if you want to have a defense down on his A1. That's actually really beneficial for Royal Guard as well, because I'm not in the need of it. So I'm running either Lydia, I'm running Krisk, I'm running Tomb Lord, Ugo. I don't really need them to land the debuff, so I chose to go on survivability. So having this amount of crit damage is just perfect for Hydra, perfect for Doom Tower hard mode. pretty much for every single boss, unless they have like crazy defense. Maybe you won't be able to hit the cap on the Head of Suffering every single time, because that has a very high defense, but you will hit it on the rest, and that will actually give you a lot of damage output. Extra turns are actually very important. I do prefer having Relentless over Reflex, and the reason for it is because Reflex will decrease the cooldown of your skill, which, yeah, is awesome. But a lot of times, gaining that extra turn to use another skill and deal some damage on one of the targets is game-changing for that particular run, because either you're going to be able to save your champion from being devoured, either you're going to have enough damage to kill the head or break the shield or something, you know what I mean? Now, when we are talking about Masteries, because these are another very important topic on them. You see, I have all these 6 champions in Relentless, actually, which is pretty crazy. I do have Geomancers in Relentless, but I might leave that for a different video because it's kind of like working slightly differently than these champions. Basically, we talked about early game, mid game, end game. Now, right here, I want to use War Master. The reason why I want to use War Master is because that will give me even more damage than I would get from by using Helm Smasher. You want to use Helm Smasher when you're mid-game, when you're farming stage 20, and kind of like that's your priority, you know? Even though I feel like it's a bad advice to tell you guys go and farm stage 20, you do want to prioritize stage 25. It has a much better drop rate to get better gear, so that overall will benefit your account, you know? But just as an idea, it really depends what you guys are farming. Helm Smasher is the way to go then. But for any other content, War Master is the ultimate way, because that gives you more damage. So you see, every single one of them has War Master, if we're looking at it, you know. And they do have pretty similar masteries. Some of them, they have accuracy, some of them they don't. It really depends if I want them to have. Like, my Husk has accuracy now, so I feel like all 3 of them have accuracy because I want to provoke with the A1. That's actually very powerful on Husk. And not only it helps you to control the Head of Decay, but everything else on his kit actually brings in so much damage, and he has such a good survivability. I kind of aim to have 220 on all of my enemy max HP nukers because I'm using them on Nightmare. It really depends by the rotation. I might swap them. Sometimes I use Royal Guard, sometimes I use Husk. Now I got Acrisia, which I'm definitely gonna use a lot. She is built a bit differently. I have more speed on her, so probably I will speed up my Nightmare team, take them all to over 250 speed, at least the enemy max HP nukers, have Krisk a bit slower maybe, and focus on the other ones to get a bit of more speed, just to 1k it faster, so to don't waste so much time. Usually once I hit the 36.6 million, I'm out of here, I don't waste more time. So this is another build on my Husk. I'm gonna show you total stats on all of them if you guys are curious, then we're gonna take them in for a spin. I know I feel like I talked a bit too much, but that's my Acrisia, you see. I don't even have a crit damage amulet on her. This should kind of like hit the cap. I want to take her to over 250 speed. She has amazing survivability. I don't have defense on accuracy on her, sorry. For the defense down on the A1. I get that from different champions, you know, so just as an idea. Now, let me quickly show you the total stats on each one of the champions. I'm not even gonna read them because you guys can actually just pick them up pretty straightforward. That's one of my Husks. This is a slower one, so I would probably use this on Brutal over Nightmare just because of the speed. He's put there as number 2, and probably I stole some gear from him when I was building my Acrisia. This is my second Husk. You see, all of them, they're pretty much in the same area with the stats, you know. And there we go. This is the third one. I used to have a fourth, but now I got Acrisia, so I don't need that. This is my Royal Guard, 207 speed. This is being used on Brutal. This one right here, being used on Nightmare. You see the stats. They all pretty much have the same amount of crit damage. Reflex is a good set as well, don't get me wrong. Like, I have Geomancer in Reflex. I am using him more on the Iron Twins Fortress. So I prefer to use the other ones on the Hydra just because of the extra turn. But he can be very powerful on Reflex. Same with Husk, with Royal Guard. How I mentioned, I prefer Relentless over it. If we're gonna go over to the Doom Tower. So right here we have boss, right? The damage is capped on enemy max HP, so we get to see what sort of hits we're gonna get on this boss if I'm gonna bring defense down and weaken. So I'm actually gonna take that Duchess out. I don't care if we're winning the fight or no. My whole idea here is just to kind of like show you guys the damage, just to see the difference. So I'm gonna bring in Royal Guards, the best example for the simple fact that I have one on Savage and one is not on Savage. And just to kind of like show you an idea here. So my Lydia, let's quickly put her in there. Royal Guard is right here, and I'm gonna bring in another Royal Guard. Doesn't really matter which one, because they have pretty similar stats. So I'm gonna save their skills for the boss, just to have everything in order. Hopefully Ethos is gonna start wrecking everything around here. The boss is Magic Affinity as well. My god, everybody's faster than Ethos. What's happening? What is happening, Ethos? You're too slow. You are too slow. And I'm gonna do a Hydra run as well, where I'm gonna show you the total damage, guys. Just to kind of like give you an idea. Unfortunately, I don't have a Savage Husk to take him into the Hydra, but I can show you kind of like an idea of what sort of damage we're getting on the Hydra, you know. So let's go. We're gonna save that hit. You see, so the first one on the left is the Savage one. I already know that because he's faster than the other one. But when we're gonna hit the cap right here, we already have defense down and weaken. 279k plus the War Master proc, which gave me 40k extra damage. 279k plus the War Master proc, which is lower than the Savage one, right? When you have Savage, the War Master gets affected as well, so that damage was a bit bigger by like 7k, I think. But just here, the damage cap is here. The more extra turns I get, the better, basically, you know, so they'll be doing more damage. We're gonna see actually the total damage at the end too. I know that one of them dealt some damage on the waves. Having good RNG on a Relentless can help as well, which is fine. We're not really kind of like counting on that right now. We want to see just their damage, you know. So that's the faster one. The other one is going to come in with the next hit. But basically, you're hitting the cap anyway, you know. So it's no point to waste it. If I would get 300 crit damage, I'm still going to hit the same cap. It's going to benefit my A1 and A2 a bit. You see, extra turn. It didn't really benefit us here because we didn't manage to use the takedown a lot of time. There we go. We actually got it faster than the other one. So as an idea, this Royal Guard is on Savage, right? And I gotta move my big head so I'm not covering the damage there. But the Savage Royal Guard dealt 995k damage. While the other one, because he got the extra turns, got the takedown on 1.1 million. So Relentless is definitely gonna benefit you more in the end game. Even Reflex. Depends. It really depends what sets you have available the most. Now, if we're gonna go in the Hydra. So in the Hydra, I actually have my team set up right now. I'm not gonna show you guys the entire run, but just as an idea. So that's what I have right here. So I have a Husk, I have a Kryzia, which is new, and god damn it, I love her. She is amazing. She deals so much damage. I kind of like to manual. I'm pretty sure if I would watch it, I should be able to do this on auto without a problem. The AI on the champions is still pretty bad, you know. So there we go. I actually changed my Duchess to a Stone Skin Duchess. She is an offense use Duchess. I might make a guide on it just to kind of like give you guys an idea. But right now, we're gonna hit the cap on the damage. How I mentioned, not on the Head of Suffering. That actually has damage reduction from the passive, from AoE attacks. Once that dies, everything kind of changes. You know, it's gonna be a massive change. But here we are again. You see, hitting the cap. So having Savage will be a waste. Having too much crit damage will be a waste. Now, when you don't have defense down and weaken, yeah, it will benefit you to have more crit damage. But if you can get more speed on your champions, that will actually benefit your entire run. So I'm gonna up a bit the speed on some of my champions from this team actually, just to be able to get to 1 kill faster. So instead of 18 minutes, maybe I'm gonna get it in 15. I'm gonna save 3 minutes every single time, basically, you know. Now, I'm gonna move all the way at the end of the run, guys, where we're gonna see their total damage and kind of like have an idea of what we can actually expect from Relentless champions on Hydra. I'm actually gonna stop it here, guys, because I've done plenty of damage and I kind of like got bored of doing it. I could click on Oro and let it go, but it's fine. Acrisia actually had an insane RNG on the Relentless. She got so many turns. Husk got quite a few, but not as many as Acrisia. So if we're gonna back out of here, let's see the total damage. Acrisia will do more than half of the damage that Husk dealt. So more than double, sorry, easily. Just because she has so many multi-hits on her kit, and it's just crazy good damage from Acrisia, you know. So Husk is with 16 million damage, Geomancer with 12, Acrisia with 44. The whole idea behind it is that the Relentless helped my Husk to heal sometimes when he gained the extra turns. So let's just say he was near the dead because of the Masteries, the Soul Drinker. He used the enemy max HP, bang, he got back on full HP, keeping him alive. Acrisia dealt tons of damage. Not having too much crit damage on them actually made sure that I was able to give them more survivability and still get a very good amount of damage. That was pretty much everything for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below, how do you have your enemy max HP champions built for endgame? And hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully I'm not gonna hear the question as often anymore and you got some clarification on it. But that was all for this video. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.